Hey guys, what's up? What's up? Coming to you live from Titletown, USA, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on this frigid weekend, first weekend of spring. I'm rocking out with Dre today. We should have Matt, Trey, returning to Roy, and a possible Amina sighting today. But right now, it's just me and Dre. So go ahead, good doctor. Reintroduce yourself.
What up, y'all? Coming out of West Philly live. Dre Terry. Excited, talk about what's going on in sports. We approaching the NBA playoffs. Are you ready for some basketball? And baseball is about to start off. Spring training is almost wrapping up, and so we should be here the opening day soon. So I'm looking forward to, just the next chapter. Let's go.
All right, yes, we got a lot going on in the upcoming weeks. But as we always start this show, whether this is your first time listening or not, you know how we always start the show. We start the show with our crossover hot takes, which are when we dive in, lean in, go in on some topics that are not necessarily sports related. This is where we get our entertainment, local, political, some more. But once again, it is all sports today. So we're gonna start with our first question to Dre. So will Johnny Manziel play in the NFL again? Go ahead, Dre.
I'm gonna go out here on the limb. This probably ain't no limb. No, he's not a quarterback anyway, unless he makes like some miraculous turnaround and he has audition for a team and like they see something like nobody's ever seen before. But no, he's not gonna make a comeback. Like, um, listen, when you small, you're more injury prone. Like you can make it as a small quarterback. Like we've seen it with Russell Wilson, we've seen it with Mike Vick, but he had a short career as well. Um, you just gotta you have to play like Russell Wilson plays. You gotta be smart. You gotta know when to pull up and when to let go. Sometimes you can't hold on to the ball forever. Players are too good. Like it's like you're taking a really bad risk by holding on to the ball. 9 times out of 10, those defenders are going to get you. Those guys are getting paid as well. But no, he's not going to make it back to the NFL. Now if he wants to be like uh, slot receiver or something like that, I can see him possibly doing that, but not as a quarterback.
Let me say this. I hope not, but all it takes is one team. He's got this magical superpower where, despite what he did, despite the fact that he has another substance abuse problem and drug abuse problem and all that. We all know talent wins out, and all it takes is one team that really needs him. So will he play in the NFL again? Probably, because he held a workout over this week, and 13 NFL teams showed up to see him throw. Whereas, in comparison, Colin Kaepernick held a workout as well this week or last week, and nobody showed up. So there's obviously some interest in him, in Johnny Manziel. Why is anybody's guess.
Wait
Uh,
a minute. They went and saw Johnny Manziel
there's
before they saw Colin Kaepernick. Tell me that ain't racism. You mean tell me they went and saw Manziel over Kaepernick? Tell me that ain't racism. Colin, you there?
Hey guys, I don't know what happened. Momentarily lost connection. I'm back now. See if I can get some. See if I can get everybody back. All right, hey guys. All right. So we had a momentary problem where my internet stopped, where my connection decided to go stupid. But I'm back now, and hopefully we won't have any more technical difficulties throughout um, throughout this rest of this broadcast. And we can actually be able to do something now. Hold up, while I re-invite everybody to the chat, and get this done. I apologize for this. Y'all know it's been a while since I had a show that was hindered by uh, you know technical difficulties. But there's a time and a place for everything. But we will get to the questions. Get back on that Johnny Manziel thing in a minute. Uh, just like I said, let me invite everybody to the cast. I apologize, those of you that were listening, and I momentarily cut out. Uh, will Johnny Manziel play again in the NFL? I believe he will. Just based on the fact that he had a workout, and a lot of teams showed up to the workout. I mean, a lot of teams showed up to the workout. And a lot of those teams showed up to the workout, and 13 of those teams, one was the New England. One team that was identified of those teams was the New England Patriots. Now, as you all know, the Patriots traded away their quarterback. Yeah. All right, so I got my technical difficulties worked out. Andre was here already. He said his piece on Johnny Manziel. I'm gonna say mine, and then we'll move on to the next question. Johnny Manziel, right? I don't know why anybody would want Johnny Manziel. I don't know why. Because of his substance abuse problems and the fact that he acted like he was too rich for the NFL to begin with because he comes from money and everything. But there are teams that are interested, and as we all know, talent outweighs morals in the NFL, and so he most likely will have a job again. Now, like I said before, I had my technical difficulties. He will most likely have a job in the NFL again. Does he deserve a second chance at the NFL? Is another question entirely. The question is, will he play in the NFL again? It looks like he will. And I don't think he deserves. He deserves. Let me make my position clear. I don't think he deserves a chance to play again. But the need for a quarterback, especially a good backup quarterback, outweighs the fact that he shouldn't be playing. So he definitely will play again. Uh, and and I'm just as shocked as anybody else that anybody would want to give him a chance. But he had all right numbers when he played in the NFL. He's got good backup numbers, and he's definitely going to be in the NFL and play again before Colin Kaepernick. So moving right along, unless Andre has anything to add. You want to add anything to that on Johnny Manziel, Dre? Dre, you there?
What's the question, Coach?
We're still on Johnny Manziel, man. I said my piece. I was wondering if you had anything to add.
Yeah. You said what's going on with Johnny Manziel?
No, I mean we're still on the fact of, do you think Johnny Manziel will play in the NFL again?
No, he's not gonna play in the NFL again. First of all, he's got too much bad publicity with him. I feel like only certain select teams are making. I mean, it kind of makes a good point about it only takes one, but usually like they stick together. I mean, we see that with Colin Kaepernick. If one team blackballs him, usually they all blackball him. And the owners have a lot of power. They decide the commissioner, they decide the new rules, and rightfully so because their money's invested. But I mean, some of the fans interest to be invested as well because we the ones that pay to see the players. If it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be no league. There wouldn't be no Johnny Manziel. But I don't think he's gonna get back in the league. And if he does, it's probably gonna be a short stay. I don't see. I would like to see it. I hope I'm wrong, to be honest with you. I would like to see it because it makes it a more interesting game to see somebody who's smaller, who you wouldn't expect to make it in the league. But it remains to be seen.
Uh, yeah, I think he definitely. Let me just say he definitely will play again. Like I said, I don't think he deserves to play again, but he definitely will play again. Because of the fact that you have teams, and high-profile teams that need a quarterback, and they will probably take him, especially before Colin Kaepernick. So moving right along. Dre, your reaction to the Kings owner commenting on what happened in Sacramento, what happened to Stephen Clark, and the fact that he was gunned down 20 times. Uh, your reaction to the owner saying that's a tragedy. What you think about that? Go ahead, Dre.
Just it's a sad situation. We see time and time again. I'm tired of talking about this, about unarmed men, black men being killed, and nothing being done about it. Um, it's really frustrating, man. But I guess I got to do more. We all got to do more to have this change take effect. But more importantly than black people making a change, we need white people to speak up. We need every race to speak up and say, injustice can no longer go on, and we won't allow it to happen anymore. Truly frustrated with the justice system and our police officers. They want to show, you know, it's funny how they'll put stuff out. Like, I seen a video of police officers playing with kids throwing snowballs. Okay, that's cool. But, I mean, it's good that you're showing me that y'all can be lighthearted and that you can connect with the community in that way. But I need to also see that you helping build that community, which you're helping to destroy. I need to see you putting up playgrounds. I need to see you reading to kids at libraries. I need to see stuff like that. You at schools and after school programs, helping kids with their homework, stuff like that. Helping kids cross the street, stuff that really makes a lasting effect. That's what I want to see. So, I applaud those protesters that sit outside the game and wouldn't allow the fans to get in because they wanted to be heard. And sometimes you got to take radical positions in order to be heard. It's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in today, especially in America.
Let me just say I'm glad that the Kings owner, Vivek Randevic, did something that most NFL owners that most NFL owners wouldn't have the balls to do. I'm glad that he spoke up about the injustice. The didn't even say it was an injustice, just said that it was a tragedy. What happened? They understood. Now, do what you gotta do to be heard. Some things go a little bit too far. Uh, and the Kings game was sold out, but unfortunately people couldn't get in because of what was happening and the fact that protesters decided that they were going to shut down the Kings game and stop people from getting in and everything. But I am very happy that the owner felt the need to come in and say something as a powerful man, as a rich man, saying that, we will not stand for this. We as the Kings are going to do everything we can to stop these tragedies from happening. And that's great. Like I said, more, Dre hit the nail on the head. It needs to be more people, white and everything. Just like Michael Bennett said when it came to the NFL, there needs to be more white players, there definitely needs to be more white people coming in. More people of every, matter of fact, not even just white people. More people of influence, white, other brown, white, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, because this is not just a black issue. This is an American issue. The fact that you have uh, who some police officers who just feel like they can gun down an African American man or woman and shoot them 20 times and know that nothing's gonna happen really. Like it'll go to trial and basically they'll be free. And it's a shame, but these are the facts. We haven't seen a cop get convicted for shooting an unarmed person in forever. Like it just doesn't happen. It does not happen. And it's a shame that this is where we are in this country. That somebody can get shot 20 times in their grandmother's backyard, and I don't expect anything to happen that'll change anything. I don't expect any justice for the Clark family. Outside of people shutting down roads and shutting down Kings games, I don't expect anything of substance to happen from the Sacramento because every time somebody gets shot, they run around, they shut down roads, the justice system never comes through. They'll probably start talking about how the bull had gang activity, start dehumanizing him, and the cycle continues. But I'm so happy that a guy with money is saying something. We need more people with money, more affluent people saying something. And when more affluent people start saying something, more people that are just black rich people that aren't just LeBron James, they start saying something. Yeah, things will get done. And I'm so happy that the Kings owner said something. I'm mad that it took this long, but I'm glad that he said something because, like I said, there are so many people in California, so many owners of different things, different teams, NFL, MLB that won't say something. I'm glad that we got somebody that got the balls to say something. Stand for something or fall for everything. And I'm glad he said something. All right, moving right along. So Dre, is there? Oh, there's Matt. All right, Matt. What's uh, Matt's back again. Um, we're on the Kings owner saying something about what happened in Sacramento to Stephon Clark. Go ahead and so you can comment on that, and if you think Johnny Manziel will play in the NFL again. Go ahead, Matt.
He ain't playing NFL again. What's wrong with you? The way they give second chances to players, nah, I don't see him play football again. I mean, look at what happened with Ryan Lee and players like him. I mean, they're not gonna see him. So no, I don't see him playing. So that's number one. Number, number two, number two. I did watching the owner of the Kings address what happened in Sacramento. I think it was the right thing to do. Also, it makes a clear point that they're taking a stand on something that I felt was the right thing to do. Speak out on instead of staying silent. So, could I believe he could set some more in depth and detail, but you know, the route they took, I think, was the best route to take, and it being being the organization that is the Sacramento Kings, uh, it is a community effort. So just to be a leader on that side of community involvement is only, I won't say start in the right direction, but it is the best direction to go. So to not no to address it head on by being vocal about it and not using the crossing prayers route like a lot of franchises do. Uh, I, I thought it was appropriate, although I think could have been a lot more uh, in depth, a lot more deeper. But I thought it was the best way to go and the best way, and I thought it was also well said.
All right, moving right along then. to the next question. So, guys, is there room for politics in the NBA? And why are so many owners, coaches, and players not afraid to get political in the NBA? In comparison, when you compare that to the NFL, who acts like they're allergic to politics. I'll start. I think that there's definitely room in politics for the NBA because the NBA has definitely been more open to including themselves as a change organization. Like the NBA is involved in a lot of things. They're involved in trying to end hunger. And that's every league. Every league talks about community service, but NBA does community service on a global scale. They have partners with the Boys and Girls Club. Like I said, they have partnership to end hunger. They definitely support their players and everything that they do. And I think the reason why the Steve Kerrs, the Steve Van Gundy's, not Jeff Van Gundy, sorry, Stan Van Gundy, and others, and other coaches, and Steph Curry's and others feel so empowered by their league is because they know their audience. Let's be real. It's a majority black players. It's a majority. Everybody watches the NBA, but the majority of the NBA's audience is black. I feel like it's probably an even split, but and the audience is younger. The audience is a lot more progressive. The audience is not old like in the NFL and baseball. Sorry, Matt. The audience is young. The audience is young. The audience is progressive, and this is what happens when you have a progressive league. Whereas in the NFL, the audience is white, conservative, and the owners are conservative. In the NBA, you have ownership, like I just said. Kudos to the Sacramento Kings owner, Vivek Randevic, I believe his last name is, for speaking up and saying that, we're not going to allow this to keep happening without us saying something, and we're going to do more in the community to make sure this stops happening. So, like I said earlier in my previous thing, if more people do this, cops will stop feeling empowered that they can just shoot somebody 20 times and face no repercussions, And, like I said, in the NFL acts like they're allergic to everything that's not conservative politics. And I'm going to talk about this later in my hot take. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers owner, a Glazer, decided to have a fundraiser for Donald Trump. And it's funny how that got relatively low news coverage, but the fact that Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the anthem was like the worst thing ever. It's funny how we're very selective with what we choose to cover and what we choose to talk about. Kneeling during the anthem is a capital offense, but an owner having a fundraiser for Donald Trump is just swept under the rug. That's hokey-dory. It's very hypocritical what the NFL chooses to talk about and what the media, sports media, chooses to cover. Here at this podcast, we're gonna cover it all. We're not just talking heads like on some news channels. We're gonna talk about it all. We're gonna be fair, and if it's wrong for Colin Kaepernick to kneel during the anthem on company time, then it's wrong for a Glazer to be having a political fundraiser for Donald Trump. Especially after all he said about the NFL, I just feel like it's hypocritical for these owners to, at one hand, be saying we don't support him, but at the same time be trying to raise money for him. This is the difference when you have a young audience in comparison to an old audience that want to be like, la, 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 we don't want politics in sports. I hate people that say that. You don't want politics in sports? Come on now. Politics and sports have been associated with everything, man. Sports, we like to say now sports are the great unifier. But back in the day, sports was the great disunifier. We had a Negro league in baseball. We had black people, black and brown bodies not being allowed to play with white counterparts. The Phillies and the Boston Red Sox still wear the shame of being the last two teams to be the last to break the color barrier. Come on now. Let's stop acting like there's never been politics in sports before. Let's stop acting like sports was not a greatest unifier back in the day. Let's stop acting like Muhammad Ali wasn't public enemy number one back in the day. Now he's the great. Now he's up there. People act like there wasn't a part where he was public enemy number one in this country for his stances. Let's stop acting like Bill Russell and them didn't exist with their stances. Let's stop acting like Jim Brown doesn't destroy his legacy every day by being what he is right now. I feel like he's suffering from a brain injury too. But I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Go ahead, Matt.
Do you remember the days of the American Football League? Right? The American Football League. In that league, let me take a step further. The NFL had many would think or believe there was a quota for black players. There has to be a quota. Versus in the American Football League, you draft the players out of pure survival, and they drafted them out of many HBCUs. So, um, so that's number. I just want to. I hate to say this word. Piggyback, right? The pig, if you will. I'd rather eat the pig, right? It, but I just want to piggyback on that one. The NBA is a very progressive league, yes, it is. And we also, if you think about it, the world has gone on a very progressive side of things. Unfortunately, here in the United States of America, correct, America, uh, the world is not here in America. It's just slow, very slow, and you know, people would like to stay. Some people, there are some people who would like to stay on this conservative side of things. I'm sorry to tell you, conservatism works to a point, but it doesn't work all the time or certain issues because unfortunately you put issues under the rug and it's like it's just nothing happened. Look at the 40s and 50s, the 40s, and then all that the great conservative era, and this thing, bang, here comes the 60s. Well, that's another stuff. As far as the NBA is concerned, they're like I said, they're more progressive than the NFL, and they're more progressive than MLB. Albeit MLB has very conservative is a very conservative game either way you look at it. And now to the disgust and dismay of purists alike, I love MLB now is letting these personalities have their way in baseball. And when it comes to MLB is doing a great job as far as initiatives for cancer, uh, prostate cancer, and Father's Day, Mother's Day, breast cancer. Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job as far as outreach to children. But when it comes to social issues, that's where baseball has a problem. And it's not the first time baseball has faced it before. A la the Vietnam War. So for I'm doing from a baseball standpoint, but as far as the NFL is concerned, it's like it's a whole another. Oh Lord, look! Oh look! It's a warrior. It's a raider. But
Shut up.
and probably an Oakland Athletic too. Ugh.
It's a Phillies fan.
Any anywho, um, it is. Look, we're in the age of we're in the age of either you're with the group or you're against the group. Either you with the president or against the president, or whatever things may happen. We all know stuff ain't right, and this is the greatest time to say something about it. And like King Owner said, they have a platform. They're privileged to have a platform that not a lot of people have, and they tend to use it without like, very judicious. And I expect that from the NBA because they have been. That's the most progressive league out of all the four major sports. It is the most progressive. Yes, the players are mostly African American, and the viewership is more on the younger side. It's the youngest. The average age group is around. It's the youngest. It's around 40 something. I can't put it in the low 40s, early 30s. So, but it's there. It's all there. Versus baseball, which is the oldest, is like pushing 50 at 52. So they got the attention, they got what you need, they got the recipe to do it, and you got players like LeBron James and the like who are stepping up for on certain issues. And I gotta take exception to Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan while I have this time. Say something like this. You, sir, I love your shoes. I never bought a shoe day in life. One thing I bought from you is your socks. And yes, they're very comfortable and I'm very grateful and honored to wear them. However, sir, by your business acumen is questionable. It's questionable. Yes, you are the owner of this, you are owner or majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, and I have a lot of questions about the way you sir run your business. Yes, you took a stand in North Carolina about the transgender thing, but I think you have not spoken up enough as far as other things. I mean, yes, rumor has, and I say rumor has it because I haven't went deep digging yet, that you managed to invest in prison, sir. I'm not the fan of boycotting things, but if that's the case, we got a problem. So, on that note, the NBA is a very progressive league. They've taken a progressive stance on various things. And I really do believe, honestly, they need to relax on the rules when it comes to the national anthem because I can on that today. So, on that note, all hell the National Basketball Association.
Dre?
I don't know why. It's a good question. Well, you know what? If I look at it, I would say the NFL is more predominantly a white audience, so they don't want to offend that white man that's watching, wants to relax. I don't know. They just got a culture of they don't want to offend nobody, but you already offend somebody when you don't say anything. You know that's a fact in today's world. The NBA is more of a global culture, so they feel like that could affect anybody from any demographic. So to wrap it up for real, I would say the NFL is a bunch of scaredy cats, a bunch of punks, man. They're afraid of standing up to things that are just wrong. The only time they stand up to stuff is when their players involved. That's it. Other than that, they kind of they pick the safe stuff. We'll fight for breast cancer, and then like that's not even strong anymore. We'll fight for our vets because everybody likes that. Who doesn't want to support somebody who's going to war? Because that comes from anybody. That's not one specific family, one specific class. Although you don't see a lot of rich kids signing up to go to war, because they got everything going for them. Every now and then you'll see, like, it was beautiful when we saw one of the princes sign up, and he said, "I want to serve for my country." But yeah, so that's why I think it's like that.
Hold up, before she goes, she's been away for most of this month, but she has greatly decided to return for one of our more heavy episodes because there's been a lot of heavy stuff going on in the sports world, especially over the last few days. welcome back, Amina. Go ahead, Amina, on this question of why why the NBA why the NBA coaches, owners and players are not why are NBA coaches and players and owners not afraid to get political in comparison to the NFL? Go ahead, Amina.
Hi everyone, it's me again. Joining everyone after being away for a few weeks. Um, in regards to the question, I believe that those involved with the organization of the NBA are more relaxed with how they feel and what they say about political and social situations happen in society because the NBA is not as, I want to use the word conservative, or is there another word to use to describe? But for the lack of better words, conservative. When I look at, you know, different sports organizations, NFL, you got NASCAR, and the National Hockey League. They're typically more conservative, as in they don't want to have a progressive mindset concerning what's going on out here in society. But the NBA, it's more relaxed, chill, laid back. You can express how you feel, what you want to say, and people actually support you within and within the organization and outside the organization. It's a track record, even in recent years, of it. With LeBron James, with the when he did his piece after when it was a rash of back-to-back police killings of black youth in the media, um, and a few other players in recent years have done similar things that he did or different. But the NBA, as people have been suggesting, may become America's number one sport league organization because they're moving forward. And it's not even just in America with basketball, it's all over the globe. Concerning their ability to connect with different people, it's like LeVar Ball, and whether you like him or not, he has connections over there to European leagues. So it's not only an American thing where people talk about what's going on in their countries as far as social injustice and political commentary, whatever. It's all over the globe. And people in America that play basketball professionally, whether it's college or big leagues, they're making connections all over the globe. And it's helping get away from any ounce of conser- conservative mindset that they would have. And concerning the young 22-year-old brother, Stephon Clark, out there in Sacramento, with the owner of the team out there, the Sacramento Kings, how he said what he felt, and it was straight up and honest, and I'm not mad at him about showing his support, showing how he doesn't wants to talk, doesn't want that vibe in the city of Sacramento. It really shows unity out here. I mean, what more better can you get with that? Also shows with the NBA how they may lead other organizations that need to update and upgrade themselves to 2018 on how to really function, such as the NFL, who's still stuck somewhere in the 20th century when it comes to social and political situations. But I think because they have more of a broader um, fan base all over the globe, that they have the ability to connect to different people, like different cultures and whatnot, ethnicities, and can relate rather than NFL, who typically mostly all of their fans live in the Western Hemisphere. So it has to do with just being progressive or conservative, for the lack of better terms. Nothing major, but NBA owners, stars, coaches, they're more vocal because the NBA is set up, has the environment that is set up to allow that. And the commissioner, Adam Silver, he typically, on a usual, shows his support for what they want to do, and there'd be no repercussions. So I say go for it.
All right, moving right along to our next couple questions. All right, y'all, we've reached the Michael Bennett portion of that thing. Seems like we can't go a year in off season without something happening with Michael Bennett. So our reactions to Michael Bennett having a warrant out for his arrest, and the second question is, what should the Eagles do about Bennett? All right, I'll start. Michael Bennett, man, at one point, when what happened at Las Vegas happened, I was all like, okay, Michael Bennett has sort of a point. It seems like the story kind of didn't add up in Las Vegas. They were looking for a black man. He matched the description. It seemed like they kind of profile him. In this case, though, there's a lot of stuff this is even a little bit more fishy. It's people in Houston. They've waited a couple years. We're on to the next Super Bowl. The Eagles won the Super Bowl. This happened a couple years ago. And if he did do it, now there's no video evidence. The only witness, we're only going to react to the facts here. There's an alleged video from his sister that shows that she has the full video of him pushing somebody down. In the video she released today, it shows them running on the field. Doesn't show what happened before that, how they got on the field. We're just going to react to the factual things that have happened and the facts of the case, which is right now it's he said, police say they have a witness, which is another police officer. There is no video evidence that the police have, no camera evidence from the stadium to show what actually happened in Houston. So, like I said, keep your reactions to what we want to react to the facts, not speculation and what we believed happened. We want to stay on the facts because we want to stay out of legal jeopardy. And so, it just seems like a lot happens in Michael Bennett's life. It seems like he can't stay out of the crosshairs of being on the wrong side of police and a vendetta. I don't know if it's a vendetta or not, but he keeps being at the wrong place, wrong time, or stuff keeps happening around him. And my reaction to it is I'm kind of surprised, and I don't think that if the Eagles knew about this, that they would have traded a seventh round pick for him if they knew that he was under investigation. Because the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie runs a very tight ship. He likes to stay out of trouble. Having players with criminal records on his team. We went over this with Deshaun Jackson. They got rid of Deshaun Jackson for hanging out with his friends that were still in gangs from California. So this is an organization that does not like to take risks for players, especially when they have a history of being in legal trouble. This is not the Dallas Cowboys. We're not the sorry, Abida, but we're not the Oakland Raiders. We don't take on projects of players with criminal records. This isn't what the Eagles do. So except for Michael Vick. But he had just gotten out of jail. He had served his time, and it's a little bit different than Michael Bennett. But my reaction is that this is true, then the Eagles need to cut him as fast as they can. If it's not true, then we'll keep it moving. But the Eagles need to talk to him about his behavior for what they did, and talk to him about, if you're going to be an Eagle, you better act like one and not bring shame to the organization. This is not Seattle. This is not Dallas. We expect you to act like you know how to act professional. So as far as Michael Bennett goes, this story is a little fishy. But like I said, if it's true, then the Eagles need to get rid of him. If it's not true, then he needs to reevaluate his life, and he needs to stop putting himself in danger of losing his football career. You know. Go ahead, Matt. Matt, you there?
Uh, I'm here. Hold on. Keep your pants on. All right. Facts. Let's look at the facts. I'm glad you brought this up. Let's look at the facts, right? If it's a legend, we don't know. You know, like you said, the Eagles run a very, very, very tight ship. Okay, you do not hear much jurisprudence coming out of out of Philadelphia in the first place. You know full well the Eagles do their homework. You know full well the Eagles look for stellar, stellar players that not only will be an asset to the organization, but to the community as well. So I really do believe, and I agree with the fact that yes, the Eagles do look at their personnel very closely. Now you signed Bennett. You signed Bennett. What was it 3 year deal? Look at this. And you don't know you always like, okay, there's nothing there. And all of a sudden, bang, this happened. I'm reading all over Twitter. I know me and Mia talked about this, and she kind of got pissed off at me a little bit, but that's okay though, cause I love her anyway. Um, on the fact that he should be cut right away. That's a problem. We cannot be reactionary. We must know the fact. We must know what's going on. And to cut this man, I'd rather not do it at this point in time because we don't know. The man just, yes, that's a warrant out for his arrest, but we need to know what the heck is going on before we act. You cannot react. You must act. And how to act is you must have the facts, you must know what's going on, and let the process do what it's supposed to do. Now, bear in mind, to cut a man out of allegations or to release a man or fire someone due to the key word here, allegation, not alligator, allegations. Okay, you allegedly pushed an elderly person. You allegedly committed a crime. Those were allegations, and unfortunately, here we take allegations as fact in the court of public opinion, and it's not right. It's not fair. I so I'm taking this. I'm taking the road on this. I'm taking this road. Should he lose his job? No, not right now. Should he be cut? No, not right now, because we don't know. So if you asking me what the Eagles should do, wait. Plain and simple. This way, I know means we pissed off at me. I know means ready to cuss me out and probably tar and feather me right now. But you gotta let the process do what it do. Albeit it don't look well for us black folk, but that's neither here nor there. So, and don't forget, this is the NFL, the National Felons League. Okay, and even though the Eagles did their best to make sure that they got the right people to defend their Super Bowl title, one to slip through the cracks today. And let's sit back and wait because because remember, it could be all hearsay, it could be he say versus he say, it could be anything. It could be in the fact that someone may try to besmirch a character based on the fact of reputation. We don't know. It is all based on, say it with me, allegations. Remember, it's allegations, are not facts. In order to get the fact, you must search for the truth, the facts, and the truth. You must investigate. So let's say it with me, allegations.
Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, I disagree, Colin. I don't think we should get rid of him. I think everybody deserves a second chance, even though he's probably like his third chance. Second chance with us. So I could be more clear on that. Um, he's a talented player. Like I would hate to see just that talent, just especially for a black man. It's too often we see, they get one shot and that's it. And Michael Vick had a second chance. So if we able to give somebody, why not? And I'm not saying it like that because I love Michael Vick. I mean, I was coming out of prison. I thought it was unbelievable. It's just, and it turned it out good in the beginning, then it tailed off at the end. But yeah, I think they should give him a second chance, and they should make it very clear though. Like, listen, you mess up this time, it's a wrap, man. Like, we weren't even expecting this coming with you. Like, it'd be one thing if we knew this going forward, but we didn't even know this going forward. So it's like you smacking us in the face with something brand new. And for the Seahawks not to tell us nothing, they shady for that. It's no way in the world they didn't know. They talking about they didn't know. Get out of here. It's no way in the world you don't know what's going on with your players. And like, I'm sure they notified them what was going on. But but yeah. So I mean, it's just life, man. Like these guys come from usually bad backgrounds, and they got all this pressure on them. They got all this money. You want them to turn into an organization like within a couple of years. No, it's not going to always translate. You're going to have some hiccups. You're going to have some issues, some running with the laws, some run-ins with the law. Uh, of course, we can't allow everything in certain circumstances. Just zero tolerance. You murder somebody, there's zero tolerance. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, man, we just got to give him another shot. Seriously.
Amina, go ahead.
I agree with the two people who've spoken before me. I agree with everything they said. We have to hear the facts, but there is a possible video of what he did to confirm what he did via one of his sisters that was there at that Super Bowl. So that video needs to be seen by legal people that are over this situation, legal team, courts, or whatever. And then a decision needs to be made. They don't need for him to be practicing with the team right now for the off season. He needs to just be laying low right now. But on the flip side, hypothetically, if he were innocent and he didn't do anything, why is his brother last night all of a sudden retiring from the NFL for no reason? Less than 24 hours after this news broke. That's what I want to know. He's not injured. He's not sick. He's an A1 football player, a Super Bowl champion, might I add. And he's 31 in the prime of his career. Why is his brother retiring from the NFL for no reason? Right after this news breaks. I mean, if my brother or sister or cousin or were a relative were innocent and they were involved or at the same job as me, I would not resign or step down from a position and they were innocent, I would stand my ground and defend so and so's honor that's in my life and remain in my job or the organization. I wouldn't leave. It just doesn't make sense between the video that his sister has and his brother getting out the NFL. It's like, what the hell is going on with this family? But like I said, like Matt said, it needs to be investigated. Um, he doesn't need to be cut at this time from the team until it's fully investigated. And after that, a decision can be made. But it is bad news for the team if he has to get cut because they waste time and energy getting this full. And the Seattle Seahawks, this was y'all guy. This was y'all man's. He was one of y'all's star players on the team, and y'all knew of this when y'all traded him to the Eagles. Y'all did not express his situation, and that's a bit wrong. You don't do that. And the Seattle Seahawks have been a respectable team to me for as long as I've known they've existed, since I've been alive, that I started watching football. They're still a respectable team, but concerning this situation, I can't respect them for this because they had to know, like, really, it doesn't make sense. They kept this under the radar and sent him right to the team who just won the Super Bowl, their first Super Bowl, by the way. So, kind of messes that. Yeah, this whole
Now,
this whole this whole thing needs to be investigated, and whatever findings are discovered need to be dealt with. And if he is in fact guilty, he needs to be cut from the team. And I hope his contract has no guaranteed money in it.
I got to stop. Hold on. Remember what I said? These are, what's the word that he's saying here? Allegations.
Hush! And that's why I said after they investigated. Get on my
And you gonna tell me, well, I can't respect the team because they were new? My thing is, look, I said it earlier. Knowing the Eagles, they did as much homework and investigations as possible. And even though he did some crazy stuff in the past, at the end of the day, he's been an exemplary citizen, especially with the Seattle Seahawks. Okay,
Don't make me fly down there to rumble you.
Find me first. Look. Like I said, they've done the homework, and you know what? He's been a good member to the community in the city of Seattle. I bring him over not only because he is a disruptive force on the defensive line, but also a good community man. And now you signed the man. He's already under contract. I forgot how much money guaranteed and everything else. And you really get this tower defense going after we got Mike Wallace and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden you got this. My thing is simply this. To say cut him now, I'm like, no, you can't do that because you got cap penalties and everything else. So to understand the financial situation is one thing, but come on now, wait until the process is taken care of.
Shoot the process and keep the thing moving.
All right, y'all. All right, back to your quarters.
Like I said, that's why the Oakland Raiders is the criminal element of the National Football League.
That's it. Okay.
Yo, quiet, man. She gonna fly down. There. Get you. All right.
All his baseball bats gonna go missing. Watch.
Teroy has made it in. All right, Teroy. What's your opinion on this Michael Bennett situation? And we'll move on.
I don't necessarily know the full severity of it. I do know something to do with I guess he pushed an elderly woman down off the wheelchair or something like that. To piggyback off of that, there's no way they're gonna cut him. I mean, you just traded for him, you just signed him. You got rid of any Curry. There's no way. There's no way you're gonna cut him. So the best thing I guess you could really do is just wait and see exactly what's gonna happen with it. See if he's guilty or not. But even then, you probably won't cut him. He may get suspended, but cutting him, I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I just don't. I don't see that happening because you just traded for him. So I know there's supposed to be an investigation going. I don't know if he's guilty or not. I'm just gonna wait till the process rides out and see what happens on that. But like I said, the piggyback off of Matt, there's no way. No, there's no way you cut him. Absolutely no way.
All right. Well, we're gonna move right along to our basketball portion of our show. All right, y'all. The Warriors, are they still a favorite to come out of the West? Even though Steph Curry just got injured again. Let's go. Let's start with our Warriors correspondent over there. Go ahead, Amina. Tell us why we shouldn't be worried. Go ahead. Tell us why.
This situation with the team reminds me of last season, when Kevin Durant got injured for about a month, and when he totally got well, the team went on a near 20-game win streak. We swept through the playoffs, minus one game. We swept through the finals, minus one game, and we were successful. This time of year, as I've said on the last podcast I was on, which was last month, that this is how my team goes. I mean, we have a terrific season up until what's that? The All-Star weekend. Then we taper off after that. Have a little challenges around there, and then boom, we surge. That's been like that for the last 3 seasons. I'm not God. I don't know the future, but to me, Steph Curry is going to bounce back from this. He's had about 3 injuries in the recent times, and what I think needs to happen is he just needs to sit out the rest of the regular season, which is just a very few games left, and rest up, take care of him. Huh? Like I said, rest up, get better,
Here
and
we go with the sitting out the season business again. I mean, here we go with the same stick.
be quiet before I fly down there. But anyway, like I said, yeah, I think that he should be able to just rest. Like it's only what I think maybe 9 games, maybe 10 left of the season for them before playoffs, and then just bounce back. Like this happens with him with major or even minor injuries. He always comes back better than ever. And I think this is going to be a very interesting playoff season, regardless, because we're seeing teams that I never would have thought would have made it this far. That have made it this far. Teams that usually late past few years have gone to the playoffs aren't going to the playoffs this year. So this is a very special playoff season. So, in regards to my team, I have faith in them that they're going to the playoffs and that they'll be fine. It's just little bumps in the road. And my team, knowing them, they get over every bump they cross. It's a little bloop right now, but they'll be all right. They have the team spirit and the willpower to overcome their challenges, and they've proven that in the past. So I feel.
Go ahead, Dre. Dre, go ahead.
My fault. What's the question?
Are the Warriors going to come out of the West?
Is the meanest thing to do her thing again? Do they thing again? Huh? Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't see nobody stopping them right. I mean, I gotta bow out on this one. All respect. I mean, this team is, them dudes is a beast, man. Like it's hard to stop them dudes, man. Plus, they proven winners. Like, so it's not just the fact that they're the Warriors. They've won a couple of times. So until somebody show me something different, yes, they coming up.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
I'm sorry to tell you, I'm not buying. I am selling the fact that the Golden State Warriors looks, even though injury riddled as they may be, even though Amina gave me a big diatribe of the fact that this happens to them all the time because of injuries and this, that, and the third, and then this, they're going to turn on the Jets, and it's what it is. Yes, they are the champs right now, and they are the team to beat at this point. I will give them that.
Defending champions, you better know it.
Go eat it somewhere. Look,
defending champions.
Look, as you must listen. Look, I have to give the Golden State Warriors credit and their due respect. However, give me a 7-game series. I really think, and I'm going out on a limb, that the Houston Rockets, as of right now, is the better team right now. Thank you, James Harden.
James Harden, who didn't show up hardly last season. Next question.
But that was last season. We talk about last season. We talk about this season. Yes, they went back, recocked the gun that was Houston, and look at us. Look at them now.
All right. Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, calm down. Go ahead, Troy.
If Steph Curry's not healthy, they're not getting out the West. It's that plain and simple. I love the Warriors. I'm a big Steph Curry fan. Me and KD share the same birthday. I'm a big KD fan. But I remember they had a stat on there. It was either on ESPN or Fox. I can't remember the exact stat, but it's like when KD plays, and Steph doesn't play, they win by an average of like 8 points. I don't see them beating Houston in a 7-game series without Steph healthy, with that sprained MCL. If he's not healthy, 100% healthy, they're not getting out the West, because they're going to need to be 100% healthy in order to beat Houston. Houston's no joke this year. I understand James Harden, disappeared last year, but now he has Chris Paul. He has help. And Chris Paul, really, in my opinion, don't like Steph Curry. And Chris Paul has been getting eliminated by Steph Curry ever since Mark Jackson got fired. So they're going to be ready and they're going to be hungry. KD's the best player on the team, but Steph is the glue. So therefore they're going to need Steph. And if Steph ain't healthy, they're not going to win. I can see them. I don't even see them getting past the Thunder if Steph ain't healthy. So Steph needs to be healthy in order for them to have any type of chance of getting out the West. And once they get out the West, they could win. They could win the whole thing, but it's going to be difficult to. It's going to be difficult for them to win it without Steph if he's not 100%.
I'm going to say it like this. Like, this playoff time, nobody's 100% healthy. But Troy really spelled out my argument. I mean, the last time the Warriors they win something, the last time the Warriors lost the finals, it was because Steph Curry wasn't healthy and he couldn't be Steph Curry. And that's when Kyrie Irving hit that shot and everything. But he wasn't Steph Curry, and so therefore the Warriors couldn't close them games out. Now, if it's a sprained MCL, we'll see. He'll probably won't play the rest of this season and probably wait until the playoffs to play again. But if he can move around, now this is big. This is a knee. So if he can still move around, and do the thing, still be a decoy, still hit the shots. If he can do all that, then I believe the Warriors can beat the Rockets because for real, I have no faith. I have no faith in James Harden. He always disappears in big games. He's been doing this since the finals when the OKC Thunder went to the finals. He doesn't show up in big games. He never has, and he never will. Let's just be real. He's not a big game player, you know. And I don't really know how everybody outside of Trevor Ariza will react to playing in the Western Conference Finals. Because let's remember, the Rockets don't get past the second round of the playoffs. They usually don't get past the second round of the playoffs. So they don't know what it is to be in important games, especially games when you're 5 to 7 games away from the finals. Nobody knows how they will react to big games. Let's be real. Even Chris Paul isn't used to getting past the first round. So you got a lot of inexperienced players on that team that aren't used to getting past the first or second round of the playoffs. Now, I'm a big fan of the Ric Flair school of to be the man, you got to beat the man. And in this case, to be the team, you got to beat the team. You know? And I believe that if Steph Curry's on that floor, if he's 85 to 90%, I believe that they can steamroll the Rockets. It'll be a close game, but I believe that they can steamroll the Rockets in about 5 to 7 games. You know? And then they'll either face the Cavaliers, the Sixers, the Raptors, or the Celtics, whichever one makes it out the East. And it'll probably be an easy matchup because the Cavaliers are not themselves. The Raptors, they're the Raptors. The Sixers, I hope so, but I even doubt that. And the Celtics are not going to be the same team without Kyrie Irving. So, they really are going to have a very, very easy matchup in the finals. So all they really have to do is get past the West. And if you're telling me that you have to rely on a semi-healthy Steph Curry and a Kevin Durant and a Steve Kerr and a team that's very experienced against an inexperienced team in the Rockets, right? That are 7 games away from a finals, I'm going with the Warriors. Experience trumps inexperience. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all tell me the last important game Chris Paul been in outside of the first round of the playoffs. Y'all tell me the last important game James Harden has been in outside of the second round of the playoffs. I mean, these are the facts, man. They both aren't used to getting past the second round. Like, that's it. When James Harden was in the finals, he ain't show up. When he had an important game, when he was 1 game away from the Western Conference, from the Western Conference Finals, and he had a chance to save his team from elimination, he didn't show up. I'm going with what I've seen. This man don't show up in big moments. He's not going to show up in the Western Conference Finals. And even if he does, it won't be enough. Moving right along, we'll have Matt's baseball update. Go ahead and do your thing, Matt.
Let's make this sucker quick. Lies. Let's see here. 1. Madison Bumgarner, right? So he hit a home run in spring training, which is rare. He's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks because he took I think it's because of an elbow injury. So he's out. Number 1. Number 2, Chris Sale, who I think led the league in strikeouts last year for Boston. He took a liner straight up the middle. He left the game, but he'll be back in time for opening day. That's number 2. 3. Yo, I don't know if you remember Bartolo Colon. 44-year-old Bartolo Colon was released by the Texas Rangers. But word has it that he might be picked back up. But the Rangers might pick him back up, probably on a minor league contract. Number 3. So we'll see how that happens. 4. My man Clayton Kershaw. You won't believe what his ERA is in spring training. His ERA in spring training is 0.00. You heard me. His ERA is at 0. So whoever faced, I forget who they play on opening day, but God help us all. And also on the hurt side, Ichiro, he got hurt too. Yeah, in fact, he got hurt by way of taking a pitch to the head, literally. So his comeback might be stunted a little bit for Seattle. Oh, and as far as baseball in the Olympics, Emma, they're working out the qualifying rules for the Olympics in baseball. So thank God baseball is back in the Olympics. I still hate London for that, by the way. And also, and oh, by the way, I said it last week. I'll say it again. This Phillies team is going to win 80 games. There, I said it.
All right, y'all. So moving right along from that, is James Harden the MVP of the league? Go ahead, Teroy.
Yeah, he is. James Harden's MVP of the league. It's no question that it's not even a debate. It's probably not even another one that's even close. He's been the best. He's been one of the most valuable to his team. I saw them being good. I didn't see him being this good. I thought they'd maybe be like third or fourth in the West, but first, yeah, he's number one. He's definitely the MVP. I mean, it it really. I think he's the MVP. But if you want to go with the most valuable to the team every year, obviously it's LeBron. They're not going to give it to LeBron every year. So this year, it belongs to Harden. I thought Harden, had a strong case for winning it last year, but he gave it to Westbrook. And I feel like Harden showed last year why he should have got it over Westbrook, because I believe they beat him at like 5 or 6. But bottom line is Harden's the MVP. It's no questions asked.
Go ahead, Matt.
Finally, somebody not named LeBron James is a front runner. I have to. There is no question that James Harden is the MVP at this point. I mean, you can sit here and say LeBron James could make an argument. You can sit here and say Kevin Durant could make an argument, and Steph Curry and all the other usual suspects on this list. But you must, and I repeat, you must agree to the fact that right now, as we speak, at 2:29 Eastern, you must agree to the fact that James Harden right now is the best player in the National Basketball Association right now. Try me.
Dre.
LeBron James MVP. Y'all know it hands down. But like Tori said, they're not gonna give it to him every year. Like whoever said is lonely at the top, one line. King James, forever. He just continues to improve, continue to make his team better. Whether he's switching out players who's lackluster and won't get the job done with a new, improved group who's ready to work and go to war. But second runner up, James Harden, hands down.
Amina.
Concerning James Harden with the MVP, um, that he may be up for it. Um, Concerning the regular season, yes, with his regular season track record, but that's as far as he can go. He hasn't proven any major success in the NBA as far
Excuse
as
me?
going far in playoff rounds. He hasn't been to a finals, and he has great regular season track records, but MVP, I think it should go to somebody who's gone above and beyond from start to finish in the season. He's good, but it's like he lacks in other areas. But if they're gonna give it to him, okay, I'll give him congratulations.
You've been watching. What season are you watching?
Um, even the last year, this year, let him go far. Like, why are they just trying to give him an MVP recognition, trophy, ring, whatever?
It's a
And
regular season MVP, so
I
therefore, even though
I
he
know
even
that.
though he hasn't done great in the playoffs, he's been killing it in the season. You got to give it to him.
I know that, but outside of that,
Damn
regular season,
outside of it, because damn
but I
outside of it, we're talking about the regular season right now. As we speak, who is the best player in the National Basketball Association right now? Even though Steph Curry's out, we all know LeBron James is in the picture all the time. But the fact that he's been standing out, he leads the league. He leads the league. He's like second or third in the league in assists right now. In fact, he's made the Houston Rockets better. In fact, I think they're number one in the West right now, if not the best in the league. So you're gonna sit here and tell me the fact that, well, he hasn't been in the NBA Finals. To correct you, yes, he has been in the NBA Finals with OKC, but they did lose. However, with that being said, you're going to sit here and tell me that James Harden is not the best player in the National Basketball Association right now? It
I
is
say it right
blasphemy.
now. Right now he is, but that's all he can do. Regular season, he can't do nothing else. So he hasn't
Let
proven
me sip on this lemonade.
he hasn't proven that he's successful beyond the regular season. What what accomplishments does he have beyond a regular season that's worth giving him an MVP award? I understand this is an MVP award for the regular season, but outside of that,
Usually in the realm of sports, in any MVP slash what's it, hockey? I forgot hockey's version of it, but in the when you are the best player of your league in the regular season. Now, I'll take the baseball.
sure, give it to him, but that's all he's good for right now is the regular season. So give it to him.
We're going to leave it at that.
Yup. That playoffs is like a dark omen for him in life.
Get off the horse.
I'm not on no horse. I'm speaking facts. Come back to the courtroom when you have a better case.
You two today, y'all just the embodiment of Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman today. I don't know what's going on with y'all, but yeah. James Harden is the MVP of the league. You know, he's having a special regular season, playoffs. I like to say this often. NBA, this is what any of them, except for the NFL, because they wait until after the Super Bowl to give their MVP. But I often like to say this: MVPs are handed out in the regular season, and often the playoffs either confirm or disconfirm that you're the MVP of the league. Right? You live and die by a playoff performance. Yes, it's a regular season award. We get it. James Harden's the MVP. We know. But you either confirm your status as the best player in the league because most valuable player. I know most people want to argue that if you're the most valuable player, are you really the best player in the league? Yes, by extension of being the most valuable player, that makes you the best player in the league for that season. Now, if you want to argue if that's LeBron James, yes, LeBron James all the time, but like we said, he can't get it. So James Harden, by extension, will he's the consensus MVP pick. So come the playoffs, he'll get to prove whether he's the best player in the league or not. You know, like I said, semantics. Is the person the most valuable player? Does that mean he's the best player in the league? Yes. By virtue of having that MVP, that makes him the best player in the league, whoever wins it. Right? So, yes, he's the best player in the league, and he will get it. I mean, he's the MVP this year, and he will get a chance to prove his MVP status come the playoffs. So we'll see how far they go. Like I said, we're not God. We don't know what's going to happen. We'll see what happens this year. moving right along to our golf portion of our program. So, guys, is Tiger Woods back, or have we lowered our expectations so much that anything he does will be considered a comeback? I'll start. Tiger Woods is, I hate saying this, not to be Mr. Controversy. Tiger Woods is not back. He's not back until he starts winning some majors. You know, it's nice. It's nice that the old Tiger is showing up a little bit more now that he knows how to handle having a semi broken back. But Tiger Woods is not back. He's not back until he starts winning something. I'm happy that the last couple of tournaments he's been second, third, fourth, whatever he's been. He's been in the top 5. That's great. But yes, we've lowered the standards so much that anything he does, if it's a top 5 finish, a top 10 finish, if it's a second place in a tournament like he did last weekend, we consider it a comeback. It's not a comeback, man. It's just him showing that the old Tiger Woods is still in there. But no, he's not officially back until he starts winning some majors and he breaks Jack Nicklaus's record. And I know he probably won't do that, but I just want him to do that. And he's not back until he wins a major. Go ahead, Teroy.
No, I agree with you 100%. He's not back. He's been playing better. It's been good to see him, make the cut, get into the last round. But he's not back until he starts being Tiger. And I don't know if we'll ever see that dominance again. But he definitely, in my opinion, definitely helps the sport of golf because golf needs it because they were struggling without him. But he's not back. I don't think he'll ever be back to the Tiger that he was. So, but the fact that he's back and he's playing semi better is encouraging because I'd rather have him play semi-good than just play horrible and just be like, why are you here? But to answer your question, I agree with you, Colin. He's not back.
Matt?
I share Teroy's sentiments and your sentiments alike. As much as I would love to believe that he is back, he's not back until he wins a major. Bottom line. We've all heard about his back injuries, this rehabbing from those injuries. The fact it's encouraging to see him at least make the cut and everything else, but to say that he is fully back, no.
Andre.
Yeah, I gotta agree with y'all. He's not back. But I will say this. I like what DL Hughley said. Everything that you are now, you already were. So he has to stop playing. I think he's in his own head at this point, and he has to get back to the true essence of himself. And don't worry about what they doing, but just release that inner Tiger we know that he can be. He's already been a great player. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's already one of the best golfers we've ever seen in our lifetime. Besides Phil Mickelson or somebody like that. But yeah, I think he has definitely reached that level again. But he just has to, he has to really focus in and just run his own race. Don't worry about what's going on around him and just do his thing. But like you said, till he starts winning majors, he's not completely back. No.
Amina?
I agree with excuse me. I agree with everything that everyone said. There we go. About Tiger Woods working on possibly coming back to his usual self that people know and love. But you have to understand Tiger Woods just turned 42 in December. He's not in his teens, 20s, or 30s anymore. He's hitting his mid 40s soon. And his playing style. Sure, some men play golf well into their old ages and all that, but he's been at it for over 20 years. And he may not never be where he once was because of it. People don't last forever that used to be at the top of their game. I mean, it was just proven that with Serena Williams, how she lost the match against the young lady out there. Tiger Woods. I mean, until he wins something big and soon, that's I don't see him being where he once was. And I think it's contributed to, like I said, with his age, his personal life over the last 10 odd years, and just him changing as an individual. I don't think he's where he was mentally when he was in his heyday for his career. He's in another place now, and when you're in another place, you're focused on other things in life. You're not focused on what you once were focused on. But if he wants to win big and go and big, if he wants to win big and major, he can. He will. I mean, he still has it in him. But like I said, years have gone by, and he's just in a different place, I think, in life now. Not so much in golf, yes, golf, but in other areas. I think it's time for the next major golf star to rise from the golf course. Because Tiger Woods, he's just not Tiger Woods like he used to be, and it's okay, and it's all right. Everyone has their seasons for everything in their life, and if his season is coming to be over with golf, then it is what it is. But hey, I support him either way.
Let me just say this. I say that even though I did say that bluntly and kind of nonchalantly, let me tell you something. I share me the sentiment. Tiger Woods is important. I'm sorry if y'all hear it singing in the background. That's Jennifer Hudson. Listen. I I say that he's not back with a heavy heart because we are all in here, late '80s, early '90s children, and so we grew up with Tiger Woods. So it's very hard for me as an African American man that grew up watching Tiger Woods dominate to say that he ain't back because I've watched this man since his rise. I've watched this man. We've all watched this man rise and fall, and I hate to say it, but it just Tiger Woods just hasn't been the same since he got caught cheating, and people made him cheating make it sound like it was like the worst crime ever. Now it it is a bad thing and it speaks to his character, but they made that man sound like a criminal for cheating on his wife, and you know we all know how morally degrading that is now because we have somebody in the White House who's multiply cheated on his wife, but you know it's just a shame what we've done to Tiger Woods, and we've lowered that bar so much that we made this man anything this man does in the top 10 finish is considered a comeback. But like I said, to me, I want old Tiger back. And I know old Tiger ain't coming back because he's 42. I wanted him to win at least one more major before he retires. That's what I want. And he's not back until then. So moving right along,
I
guys.
think it also is contributed to the fact that athletes that started when he did, that are still involved with their careers, they're not the same anymore. If you remember back when he started, back in the '90s, him, Serena, and Venus, they all started around the same time professionally, and you could see even the Williams sisters tapering off career wise at this point. So, like, I think it's their season now to bow out.
All right, well, that's another question we can tackle next week if it's time for Tiger to retire. But moving right along. All right, y'all. And I wish Trey was here because this is something I got from him on Sunday. So, is this the tournament? This is March Madness now? So, is this tournament the year of the underdog, or the year we all got on our Jon Snow and we knew nothing about college basketball? Uh, Go ahead, Teroy.
Nah, it's the year of the underdog. I was upset that UMBC didn't get to the second round. Loyola Chicago is in the Elite Eight. It's the year of the underdog. It's the year that I've always wanted. The year that I've always been envisioned happening. It's a difference when I really believe the only main difference between most of the good schools and most of the small schools is recruiting and national television. And when you get on a neutral site, especially when it's one game, anything can happen, and that's what that's what we're starting to see, that anything can happen. So that's it's the year of the underdog. I don't think it's the year that nobody knew about college sports. I think it's just the year that the underdog's finally catching up to the rest of the world, and they're starting to see exactly that we can play ball too. We're just like y'all, even though we don't got the big fancy recruits, we can still beat you on a neutral site. So I honestly believe it's the year of the underdog.
Go ahead, Matt.
I think it's both. It is the year of the underdog, most importantly, but at the same time, we kind of don't know basketball the way we're supposed to know basketball because here, like, big programs have a lot of one and doneers, a lot of them. But what makes these small schools like UMBC and Loyola Chicago different is the fact that the the smaller schools have continuity, and that's what separates them from uh, that's what separates them from other schools. It's because of how they 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 can play to the competition. Now, as far as what we do, we thought we knew everything. We could sit here and we've done all the work, we've done all the homework and everything else, breaking down stuff and nothing, But give me a one game scenario, neutral site, anything can happen. That's what the beauty of March Madness. Anything can happen, and the one of the best team is in 40 minutes come out on top, and we're seeing that. So it is the year of the underdog, but at the same time, we don't know Jack squat because we're so accustomed to these bigger schools like Duke and Virginia and, and the like. We're used to seeing those usual suspects from bigger schools and bigger conferences. But these smaller conferences, they're coming out of nowhere and showing how the game is played, and it's based off of playing together for a long period of time.
Go ahead, Dre.
Mr. Matt, I got to agree with you. It's a year an underdog, and it's a year we don't fully know college basketball like we thought we did. But I kind of alluded to this before. If you run back the podcast, and I talked to Colin, it was just me and Colin talking, and I told him that there will be underdog teams that come. Well, I didn't even say teams. I talked about an underdog team upsetting the number one team, and Colin, I don't see Virginia nowhere. But when you play as a team against a bunch of individuals, or even I don't know a duo or a trio, you'll never beat that team because the team has more energy, they have more finesse, they have more understanding of us working together is going to crush them. Not beat them, it's going to crush them. Like, they're not going to be able to survive in this environment. We got really cocky with college basketball. All right, this team's is really good, so they're going to get there. Nah, that's not always the case, man. Like, you can't. This is why you never underestimate any of your competition. Just like they say in football, any given Sunday. If you don't show up, you're not gonna win. It's that simple. You know, I don't care how big your school is. I don't care how many number one players you got. How many who was great in high school. Like, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you don't show up that game, you don't play like a team that game. You got to play every game like it's your last. Period. So the underdogs are taking over because the number one schools, you know, they think they can just walk in and get a victory. You know, that's not happening no more. And that's one thing I like about Villanova. Villanova don't take it for granted that they're there. And Jay Wright don't let them take it for granted. He keeps his foot on the gas and he keeps the opponent on the ground. He's not the type to, you know, lay off of opponent. No. We're gonna go full force.
Go ahead, Amita. I know you don't talk college basketball, but go ahead.
I ain't got much to say about this question. I agree with everything everyone said.
All right, well, I'll do it then. Dre, I caught you with that UVA thing. All right, so I was wrong about UVA, and they lost to their sister school, UMBC. Who would have thought it'd be a school from Maryland that would knock off Virginia? But you know what? You know, it's kind of I agree with Matt. It's kind of both. It's the year of the underdog because you know we knew how this year started. It started off with the Eagles, so we probably should have known since the Eagles won and had their little run that this was going to be the year that teams we don't expect to win titles would win titles. So the Eagles got us started, and now we'll see. But I doubt Loyola Chicago will end up in the title game. But I know a lot of y'all was about to be crying yesterday if Villanova ain't win. But I still got my two perennial picks in Villanova and Kansas are still in it. So I'm happy. But yeah, it's both. It's the year of the underdogs. It's the year that we all want it. But I want to go a little bit deeper, man. This is the effect of one and dones, two and dones, and three and dones on college basketball. Like we used to have very, very strong teams. It used to not be. Now this is the year that we've all won it. We haven't had this kind of year since Jordan went all the way to the title game. But you know, let's be real. This is gonna end with either Villanova or Kansas or maybe Duke. I hope it doesn't end with Duke winning, but this is gonna end how this always ends. You know, we get this little taste of underdogs and parity, but ultimately with a Duke, a Nova, a Kansas winning the title. Loyola Chicago, even with the blessing of Sister Jean, they're not going to do it. They might go to the Final Four, but they're not going to the title game. Let me just add a dose of reality in here. But you know, like Troy said, this is the year we've always won it. It's not going to end like y'all wanted though. It's either going to end with Duke, like I said, Duke, Kansas, or Nova winning the title. But yeah, this is the year where we get a little shot at parity. But ultimately, this is the year. This is the effect of schools recruiting one and dones, schools recruiting two and dones, and three and dones on college basketball. You have very, very weak powerhouse schools. You know, you have Villanova and Kansas, which are all led by seniors and juniors, and then you have teams like Duke that are really weak teams, but are strong because they're a bunch of one and dones. But this is the effect of all that on college basketball. You know, weak powerhouse teams, strong teams that have been together for 4 years because they have players that stay in school for 4 years. But yeah, this is a little bit of both. It's underdogs in the year we don't know nothing about college basketball. Moving right along, what are our expectations for the Phillies? I expect the Phillies to win somewhere between, especially now that they picked up Jake Arrieta, and since you know this is the year of the underdog and nobody expects the Phillies to do anything, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I reserve the right to change my tune. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say this is the year that the Phillies will make the playoffs and probably in the wild card spot, but they'll make the playoffs. I know Matt is rolling his eyes as we speak, but I think that they'll make the playoffs and maybe win 70 to 80 games. I believe that they will have a chance at the playoffs this year because, like I said, this is the year of the underdogs, and the Phillies are the ultimate underdogs in Philadelphia. So, this will be the year that they make the playoffs. Go ahead, Matt. I mean, Teroy, my bad. Go ahead, Teroy.
I think they'll be better. The playoffs is kind of pushing it. I could see him winning somewhere between like around like 80 games, but making the playoffs, no. I still think they're like a year away from that. Honestly, maybe next year. Having Jake Arrieta helps if he can, stay healthy and get back on track. In 12 miles, keep right up to FL. But they're going to need some more. They're going to need some more pieces. So, but I think they can win about like 85 games this year, but they're not making the playoffs. Like, I'm just being realistic. If they made the playoffs, I'd be shocked.
Matt, you want to expand on what you said? Because you're the one that got the starter saying 80 games.
They can win 80 games, but here's the crazy part. Now they got their ace. They could. It depends on how things go and how Gabe Kapler plays that bullpen. So they can win 80 games, 85 max, but no more than that. And really, they can be in the wild card talk, but I don't see them winning no more than 80, 85 games. No more than that.
Amina? Amina, you there?
Oh Lord, she's in my head.
All right. No.
I'm here.
All right. You got anything to add on the Phillies, or you good?
I'm good. I feel what y'all saying. They're having a great early season so far from what I see.
The season didn't even start yet.
I know it's spring training season, but still they're having great games so far.
All right. Well, moving right along, and I realized nobody told me this, but we missed the question. Skip right over this one. Can the 76ers really win 50 games? I'll start. Well, they got 41. I know they play. I think they play the Timberwolves tonight, and I hope that they can beat the Timberwolves. But yeah, I think they can win 50 games. I mean, like Amina says, like 12 games left, 11 to 12 games left on their schedule. I think they can win 50 games. I mean, they're already in the playoffs, and now with Boston kind of weak, they have a chance to make it to the number 3 seed. So yeah, I definitely think the Sixers can win 50 games. They're rejuvenated. Like I said on the previous podcast, I would love for Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons to get some rest because they're playing 35 minutes a night. And I'm kind of worried about that. I'm kind of worried that they'll end up like James Harden did the last time he played the playoffs, too tired to be able to do anything in the playoffs. And I really, really hope that's not the case. But Brett Brown cannot keep Thibodeauing his main stars, because that's why Derrick Rose broke down. Tom Thibodeau kept playing him 40 minutes, 35 minutes. Just let them sit down, Brett. The future hangs in the balance on both of them. Just let them sit down. But yeah, they can win 50 games. This team is playing great basketball. They're coming together. They haven't lost at home in a very long time. I mean, this team is coming together, and you want to speak of teams that are ahead of schedule. The 76ers are it. I mean, if there's a team that took inspiration from the Eagles, I really do think it's the 76ers, because to me, they're a year ahead of schedule. I didn't expect them to even be in the playoff conversation at this point, but I'm happy for them, and I hope they make noise in the playoffs. But yeah, they can win 50 games. Go ahead, Toroy.
I'm right there with you. I believe they can win 50 games. I honestly believe, depending on who we play, depending on if we get out the first round or not, I think we're going to need to either get the fourth seed or higher, which I believe we are the fourth seed right now, in order to win the first round game, in order to win the first round series, because we're going to need that home court advantage. But they're peaking at the right time. Things are only going to get better. I could definitely see us winning 50 games. You never know. If Cleveland starts losing and we keep winning, I can see us maybe getting the third seed. But yeah, 50 games is definitely doable. That's definitely not without the realm of possibility. I believe in the Sixers that they can win 50 games, and depending on who we play, maybe even I think we get to the second round, maybe even get to the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on who we play and if we play the right brand of basketball.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
Wendy. This basketball team has the possibility to win 50 games. I don't see them winning 50 games, probably 48, 49. But keep this in mind. We do play Cleveland one more time. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they may win 50 games. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But what's more important at this point is home court advantage. Get it by any means necessary. If you win 50 games, great. If not, home court is more important at this point.
Go ahead, Amina.
Yes, the Sixers do have the potential to win 50 games. I just checked for Sixers updates. They play the Timberwolves tonight. It's 6 Eastern Standard, so hopefully the Sixers beat the Timberwolves. And after tonight, they only have 10 games left of their season. I just checked. So they have 10 more games after tonight. And they're 41 and 30 right now. So if they can win the rest of the season, they can get those 50 games won. They just have to keep on the rhythm that they're on and keep their spirits up and know that they can do anything they set their minds to. And they have it. They've proven themselves this season that they want to go far. This team, they're not just going out there playing a neighborhood playground pick me up game and going home. They're really out there doing doing legit professional style games out there, and they want to win. It's clear after every game they've played this season, and I've seen several games of them on TV that they've played, and they really are out there putting their all into it. So I truly believe that they have it. So they win the rest of their season, they'll be over 50 games won, and they'll definitely be in the playoffs. And hey, they're fighting the Cavs right now for the third spot. It's going back and forth between them and the Cavs. So it'll be very interesting to see which team gets that third spot when April comes for the end of the regular season entering playoffs. So yeah, the Sixers can win 50 games, and they should tell themselves every day, all throughout the night, that we are going to win at least 9 of our next 10 games to get to that goal. So yes.
I got pound on this one. Correct me if I'm wrong, sir. Didn't you said earlier that you did not see this team making the playoffs? Because I know I said early in the season that this
Yes,
team
you did.
that
Yes,
this
you
team
did.
is
Yes,
going
you
to the playoffs.
did.
I said it
Yes, you
early in the
did.
season. I said it before the season began. I said it in this podcast that this
I never
Philadelphia
said. I
76er
never.
would.
I never said that they weren't going to go.
No. I'm talking about Collins. I'm going to get in the Collins case here. I said it this season, before the season even began, that this Philadelphia
Yes, you
76ers
did. I
team will
remember
make
you
the
said
playoffs.
that.
I didn't. It didn't matter what seed they got in. They was going to get in. I did not expect them to be around 3 or 4. But yes, sir, you said that you did not expect this team to get to the playoffs, and here we are now, sir.
Be realistic. I mean, I believed you when you said that, but I'ma be real, man. You know, I'm a realist. Let's be real. We've had these conversations when you know I'm a realist. I did not expect. I'm gonna be honest. I did not expect. I came in tepid. Y'all know my main problem with the Sixers have been the health of Joel Embiid, and I will be honest. When he signed that new contract, I did not expect him to play more than 40 games. That was my initial thing. I've said this on this podcast before. After he signed that contract, I didn't expect him to play more than 40 games. Y'all can go back and check the tape, and that's what I was basing that on. Now you had a lot more faith in this team than I did, but here we are.
It's not just fake. It was literally the eye test. It was literally the eye test, and the fact that Ben Simmons was going to play out of his mind. Okay, that's what I was basing it on. And look, I've seen what Joel Embiid can do, and he needed a number 2. He needed another guy, and him and Simmons playing together. I mean, my God, it's deadly. Look, this is a fun team to watch. Fun team to watch.
It is. And I asked God and the Sixers to forgive my unbelief. I'm sorry for being realistic, having that pessimism. Forgive my unbelief. I believe now. I believe in the moment. I believe we're in the moment. I've always trusted the process, but the process has made it hard for me to trust it. But I fully trust it now. I'm fully invested. Go Sixers. All right. Now. Now for my
Took you long enough.
be quiet. Now for my hot take. All right. It's time to admit that there is a double standard when it comes to protesting in sports, right? Now, in the NBA, we talked about this earlier. The NBA, we have a double standard here. We have the NBA, which is able to protest and face little consequences from that. You don't see the president tweeting, attacking the NFL. For some reason, maybe it's because of the audience that the football has an even split, but mostly a majority white audience in comparison to the majority black audience of the NBA. Maybe it's the difference in crowd. Maybe it's the difference in political affiliation. But we need to understand that there is a difference. I mean, we've had an owner in Jerry Jones protesting the NFL for a while. Somebody who was willing to do what Colin Kaepernick would later do and sue the NFL, right? But nobody said that Jerry Jones was a baby. I said it. We said it on this podcast. But nobody with high credentials in the media was saying, oh, what a baby. Oh, I'm going to stop watching the NFL because Jerry Jones is protesting. Oh, they're so disrespectful to the league. Oh, nobody wants to see somebody kneeling during the national anthem. You know? But let's compare that to the NBA, where we've had Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James shut down a whole award show to protest. Nobody said anything. Everybody said how great that was. We've had the NBA lead when the ESPN wants to do stuff like have town halls with basketball players, with community members. Where's the NFL at? We have the NFL cowering from a president, where we have the NBA saying, bring it on, Donald. And we have them cowering. We have owners that are willing to give money to the president while at the same time saying, I want my players to stop kneeling. We have a double standard in sports. I've said it earlier in this podcast that sports used to be the great disunifier. And the Phillies and the Red Sox and other East Coast teams wear the shame of being the last two teams to break the color barrier in baseball. Sports used to be the great disunifier where we had Negro leagues in baseball, where we had basketball players not being able to stay in the same hotel room as their white counterparts, the same in every other major sport. Yet we act like politics doesn't belong in sports. I said it earlier, I'll say it here in this hot take. Politics and sports go together like apple pie on the 4th of July. We've always had politics in sports. Always. Always will. Why? Because so many people want to act like we live in a colorblind society. If we lived in a colorblind society, if we lived in a society where actions didn't dictate what you do, Colin Kaepernick would have a job. If we lived in a society that was colorblind and didn't care about what happens, what you do, what's his name? Abdul Raif wouldn't be blacklisted from the NBA. That's another shame from David Stern's NBA. The fact that man, for protesting the national anthem, can't be in the NBA anymore. It's time for us to admit that we got hypocrisy. Anytime an older Jerry Jones or Glazer can have a fundraiser for Donald Trump and nobody say anything, or anytime a Jerry Jones can sue the league and nobody calls him a baby, nobody says we're not watching the NFL because this person is supporting Donald Trump, when are we going to admit that this is a color thing? If the body wasn't black or brown that was protesting or sitting out the national anthem, if the person didn't have the last name Raif or something Islamic, we wouldn't have a problem. We have a double standard in sports when it comes to protesting. We will allow anybody that's not black or brown to get away with literally anything and not say anything. But if a black or brown body wants to stand up and say, listen, this country isn't living up to its ideals, this country isn't doing what it's supposed to do, and I feel it needs to change, we're ready to tell them, get out the country. We don't want you here anyway. But we'll let anybody with money tell us how we should feel. We have a double standard in sports, and it needs to change. We are a hypocritical society, and it's time to call out the double standards. And that's what a hot take, what I will continue to do as long as I have a platform. All right, I want to thank Amita, Teroy, Matt, and Dre for coming. As always,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have a little admission error here, if you don't mind me telling you. Actually, the Philadelphia Phillies were the third to last team in the major leagues to integrate baseball. Third to last. The other two were Detroit, and of course, Boston was dead last.
Okay, thank you, Matt. But I want to thank y'all for coming through. Look forward to Matt's hot take. I don't know what it's going to be next week, but it's going to be a doozy. It's probably going to be baseball related. Like I said, I want to thank Teroy. I want to thank Matt. I want to thank Amina. I want to thank Dre for coming through. Yeah, this is great. And I am so excited for what we're gonna do the rest of this year. I want to thank you all for supporting, whether you support now or you support later. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the first weekend of spring. Deuces.